Hey all. Hey. Reeve here. Oh, write a script, they said. Oh, you should write down what you're gonna say, they said. Fuck that. Nuh-uh. I'm doing it. We're gonna do it live. That's a reference. So you wanna know what I've been doing lately? I've been playing a lot of poker. I just lied to you. That's just a complete lie. I have not been doing that. What I have been doing is playing Balatro. If you know what that is. It's a game on Steam where it has the rules of poker, but it's also a roguelike. So it's like poker mixed with Slay the Spire, I guess, you know? And it's a lot of fun. The only issue, I suck at poker. Yeah, I mean, it's all luck anyways, but I'm still bad at it. So you know what? I'm gonna make a bot to play poker for me. I just lied to you again. That's not what I'm doing. I'm writing a bot that'll, given a hand of poker, the bot will be like, oh, this is the probability of discarding these cards, and you get this. You get what you follow? So if it's like a hand and there's like 4 diamonds, it'll be like, oh, the probability that you discard the rest of your hand and you get a flush of diamonds is this. You follow? But if you don't, I'm gonna fucking explain it more. I mean, yeah, that's what I did. I guess we'll just get into it. The fuck am I doing? Alright, so I already did this one time. But it was absolutely abysmal. I sucked at explaining, so I'm not gonna go down every line of code and explain. I'm really just gonna give you the gist, because also I don't think you care. So I'm just gonna give you the gist. Firstly, the main thing that I had to do is I had to learn hypergeometric probability to do this. Hypergeometric probability is the probability of... Well, I'm just gonna... It's the probability of drawing a specific card out of the deck. Okay? It could be used for more than that, but that is literally all I'm using it for, is the probability of drawing a specific card out of the deck. So, on the screen, I'm going to put up an example, or the hypergeometric probability formula. Basically, what it is you take the amount of cards, I'm going to keep using the cards example, the amount of cards in the deck, and how many you want. That's being... I'm not sure, so I'm going to use the Python term because I'm not sure what it's actually called. But math.com that. So it's the number of ways to draw one card. So if it was an ace, it's the number of ways to draw one ace. Or if you want 2 aces, it's the number of ways to draw 2 aces. So you multiply that by every card you want. And then you multiply that by the cards in the deck that aren't one of the ones you're looking for, and the amount of cards you're drawing that aren't what you want. So if you're drawing 8 cards and you're looking for an ace, just one ace, you're drawing 8 cards and you're looking for just one ace, then the amount of cards you're not looking for is 7. So it's multiply all the cards you're looking for and how many by math.com, the cards in the deck that aren't the cards you want, and then the remaining cards being drawn, number of cards being drawn. Finally, you take that and you divide it by the complete size of the deck and the complete number of cards you are drawing. That is hypergeometric probability, and that is the lifeline of this project. That is just the only real math formula that I used. So with that out of the way, we're just going to go through. So first off, it creates a deck and only does this one time, because when you input the cards you have, it removes it from the deck. And so if it keeps creating the deck, then the longer you play, the more incorrect the probability is going to be, because there's cards in the program's deck that aren't in your actual real deck. And then every time before deciding probability, it takes your hand, and then it removes that card from the deck. That way, the deck actually matches the real deck, and then it moves on. First, it checks. So I have it check the hand for things like I have it check. I have it check the hand for every combination of cards. I have it check a hand for a pair, a triple, a quad, a full house, a two pair, a straight, a flush, and a straight flush. It's not necessary, but I had it do this just so I can kind of figure out how I'm going to do the rest of the project. So basically, it just checks in your hand using a counter of the values if there's 2, 3, 4 of any card. And then if you have 3 and 2, then you have a full house. And if you have a 2 and a 2, you have a pair. Very simple. Then it checks straight and flush. Basically, for the straight, it just sorts the deck, and then it starts at the lowest one, or it sorts the deck, and then for each value it starts at, it counts up and looks at the next value in the list. And if it's one greater than the one prior, it continues. And then if it gets to 5, you know you have five continuous numbers, and that's a straight. So it starts at, so if the first value was a 2, it starts at a 2, and it looks at the next one. And if it's a 3, then it looks at the next one. And if it's a 4, it looks at the next one. If it's a 5, it looks at the next one. And if it's a 6, it knows it has a straight. But if at any point in there it's not the next number up, it stops because it knows it's not a straight. Yeah, and then it checks if you have 5 of the same suit, and then it checks the straights, and if the straight has all the same suit, then it knows that's a straight flush. Very simple. And then we're into the part where it decides probability. So I wrote this probability of pair myself without using hypergeometric probability, but it only works for pairs. It doesn't work for triples. It doesn't work for quads. So I scrapped it, and I had to learn hypergeometric probability. So for the probability of a pair and trip and a quad, basically what it does is it checks the greatest hard in your hand, and then it uses hypergeometric probability, the formula I explained earlier, to determine how likely it is, discarding the rest of the cards, or discarding an amount of cards, how likely it is that you get 2, how likely it is you would get 3, and how likely it is you would get 4. And then after doing that, it checks the probability of the same thing, but for the most likely card in your hand. That's not the greatest. So if you already have a pair in your hand, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about the most likely card in terms of the deck. So if there's 3 in the deck, that is a very likely, because there's going to be less, because some cards you would already have drawn 2 of, so there's only 2 left in the deck. So it just looks for the greatest number in the deck that isn't 4, because obviously if it's 4, you haven't drawn it yet, and getting a pair of that is impossible. So it looks for the greatest one, and then checks if it has it in your hand, and then if you do, it uses hypergeometric probability to check the chances of getting a pair, a triple, and a quad. So this is the probability for a full house and a pair. It's basically the exact same. All it does is it, for every card in your hand, it checks every other card, and it determines the probability of getting 3 of the first card and 2 of the second card. And then if the probability is the greatest without being 100%, meaning you already have it, then it tells you that. So it's not going to tell you every possible combination of a full house and a pair. It's just going to tell you the most likely one. And then it does the exact same for the 2 pair. For the probability of the flush, it's really simple. It just checks your hand for the greatest number of suit. So if you have 5 diamonds and 3 hearts, it's gonna look at the diamonds. I know that's already a flush, but just the greatest number of suit in your hand, and then it determines the probability of getting the rest required. So if you have 3 hearts, it's going to determine the probability of getting 2 more hearts after discarding the rest of your hand, using hypergeometric probability. Yippee! All right, the straight is probably the most complicated one. Basically, what it does is it looks at every card in your hand, and then it checks every slot of the straight. So, what I mean by slot of the straight is made up of 5 cards. The first number in the straight is the lowest, and the 5th number in the straight is the highest. So, it checks every slot of the straight, every possible value could be. It could be the first card, meaning it's the lowest. It could be the second card, meaning it's the second lowest. It could be the third card, meaning it's the middle. It could be the fourth card, meaning it's the second highest. And then it could be the 5th card, meaning it's the highest value card in the straight. It checks every slot of that. It looks at if you have any other cards that are a part of that straight. So if it's looking at a 5 in the first slot, it checks if you have a 6, a 7, an 8, or a 9. If it's looking at a 5 in the middle slot, it checks if you have a 2, or a 3, a 4, 6, or a 7. So it checks if you already have cards that are in the straight. And then for every card you don't have, it determines the probability using hypergeometric probability of discarding the ones you don't need and getting the rest of the straight. That's what it does. Yeah. I hope I explained it well, but yeah. So basically, it just takes what I described. It takes the hand, it checks the duplicates, it checks the straight and the flush, probability of a pair, probability of a flush and a 2 pair, probability of a straight. So it takes that and it runs through it every time. So take hand, probability, blah, 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 and then it takes hand again, so it knows that the deck has been updated after you decided to discard, decided to make a move, whatever. And that's what I did. Yeah, so I decided not to go completely line for line because I feel like it wouldn't be that interesting. Also, I don't think anybody's going to watch this. I mostly just, like, I know there's bots and stuff that could do this for me already, but I'm not doing this to cheat at Balatro, surprisingly. I'm doing this because I want practice, and I want to do something that interests me with Python. That's why I do what I do. Sorry. I don't know but yeah, that's the code. Alright, now we're gonna put this thing to the test. Open up a game of Balatro. We're gonna play a new run. Alright. I'm not gonna skip the blind or anything. Alright, so we just get in here. Type card 1, part king, diamonds queen, hearts 10, diamonds 9, hearts 7, clubs 6, clubs 4, and hearts 3. Okay. So, most likely, flush is a flush of hearts. Probability of 43% after I discard 4 cards. Probability of getting a straight of 10, jack, queen, king, and ace. Yep. 9% after I discard 5 cards. Full house is a triple of king and a pair of queen. The probability of 0.8%, so we're not going to go for that one. I feel like we should go for the flush here because it's pretty likely. So we'll just discard this. Then we got to input our new hand. Heart king, heart 10, diamonds 10, heart 7, hearts 3, clubs 2, spades 2, diamonds 2. Done. Oh shit, I mixed up the clubs and the spades, but as long as I keep doing it like I have been, it's fine. The flush is now 44%. I'm just gonna keep going for this flush here because, oh, actually, I'm gonna play this triple that I just noticed I have. But if we scroll up here, it tells me I have a full house of a 2 and a 10. Oh, I do have a full house of a 2 and 10. I didn't even notice. I guess I'll play the full house. Nice. Okay. Well, obviously we've almost won already.
I said this with clubs. Hearts king, diamonds king, spades 9, hearts 7, hearts 5, clubs 3, hearts 3. Alright. Flush of hearts is still 44%. The straight is now 3%. What do I have? I have 2 pair of a king and a 3, which would just win me the game, but I think I'm going to go for the flush just because I want to style out a little. Come on, big money. Oh, and here's the flush. And just like that. That's a win. Nice. Now, obviously, something you have to keep in mind with this is that in a game like Balatro, you can add cards to your deck, which is kind of a problem. If I worked on it more and actually like tailored it to Balatro, I could probably read your hand already and you wouldn't have to put in what you have. I could make it so you can add cards to your deck. Things like that. But I feel like gambling. Why not? Sure. Guess we're playing for the flush. Right, so we have this time we're going to actually call this spades. Spades of a queen, diamonds 9, hearts 8, hearts 7, diamonds 5, clubs 4, hearts 3, clubs 3. Okay. 24% of a flush. We want the flush, but that's not that good of odds. If a pair of 3. What should I do? I think we'll play for the flush here. Flush of hearts is my most likely, so I'll play for the flush of hearts. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, shit, I got it. That's lucky. Hearts queen, hearts 9, clubs 9, hearts 8, clubs 8, hearts 7, hearts 3, diamonds 3, 10. Well, yeah, I guess I'll just play the flush. And my bot works. I mean, I say it works, but I guess the math could be just completely wrong and I have no idea because I'm not fact checking it. You know, if you are a mathematician and you actually know probability, because I fucking hate math, go ahead and tell me if I'm being stupid. Alright. Let's see. Clubs king, spades jack, clubs 9, spades 6, hearts 6, spades 4, hearts 3, diamonds 2. Flush of spades is my most likely. Probable 2 pair do I have? I have a 2 pair of a 6 and a 3. I guess I'll just keep playing for the flush. It's like 30%, that's not that bad, and it's my greatest asset, so I'll play for the flush of spades. Diamonds ace, diamonds king, diamonds queen, spades jack, hearts jack, spades 6, clubs 6, spades 4. Okay, I see a straight. I'm strangely close to a straight flush, a royal flush. 36% is the flush, but not a royal flush. It doesn't tell me the probability of the royal flush, just the probability of getting a 10. So the probability is more likely to get a straight here, but the straight isn't going to instantly make me win, whereas if I get the flush, I will. Only 27% on the flush. I'll still play for the flush, I think. Oh, that's it. I got it. Clubs queen. I don't need to do this because this just wins. And if it doesn't, that's unfortunate. Yep. Just like that, my bot beat the first ante of Balatro. Beat is a stretch because I was the one that did it. But you know what? We'll say it beat it. Cool. Yeah, that's my bot.
So yeah, that's what I did. Sorry this video probably came out like 5 days before the 10th. I usually upload on the 10th. And so I just want to apologize that you have to see me again earlier. Like, it hasn't even been a month and you have to see me. I apologize for that. I know most of you want to see me after a month, like minimum. Like maybe 3 years would be a good amount, but a month minimum. I'm really tired. Why am I talking? I'm running on 5 hours of sleep. I just got home from class. I'm dying. All I've had to eat today is 2 empanadas. But yeah, so, I mean, that's what I did the past, well, I say a month, but it's more like 2 weeks, because I spent the first 2 weeks looking at the views on my last video go up, and then, well, that's like the first week, and then the next week, I did a whole lot of nothing, but other than that, I mean, I worked to the bone. I lied. Man, I'm just lying to you today. I'm just rambling. Yeah, so, that's what I did. Hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, bye.